Well, Dan, you had your day in the sun on Tuesday, but you know those Pirates, they got really restless, and they did their dance to the Ruckus gods, and they said, let there be ruckus. And yesterday, I told you guys, one of these two games between the bottom dwellers is going to go off. That game is going to provide the opportunity to rake up and down. And my goodness, did that Anaheim-Columbus game do just that. If you took line mate combinations, if you took one guy 2 points on one team, another guy 2 points on another, we blasted not just the plus 200 for Terry and McTavish, but we blasted the plus 1,800 for 2 points Terry, 2 points McTavish. And I just want to let you know, they've hit that in 3 of 4 games. Terry and McTavish have nailed that 2+ line mate point prop parlay. Wow, that's some alliteration. In 3 out of the last 4 games. If you can just pick the proper game environment, that's when you can really stack. And I'm sure some of you are out there saying, this is unbelievable. I am raking all over the place. We also nailed the player point prop combo with Thompson and Skinner. And hopefully you guys really were able to get the most out of these sniffs and on that slate, because on a slate where you don't particularly, hey, by the way, congratulations to the Aeropostale swimsuit guy. You got your Matthews goal, you got your Leafs win, I'm happy for you. You take that, and I'll just take that assortment of ruckus that me and the Pirates were able to hit. I mean, in this last week, I gave you that list the other day, but like the plus 2 plus 800s, plus 1,200, plus 4. Now I just add a plus 1,800. It's really getting ridiculous. We're on a run of epic proportions, and everybody who made their way over to the Patreon, they got to enjoy, well, you guys got to enjoy those Zaka points that we hit at the last, I want to say stroke of midnight. It was way later than midnight, depending on where you are. And somebody asked, man, this guy's sniffing more than that to be this excited in the middle of the night. Well, when you nail a Zaka point that completes the plus 325 or 375 parlay that I put on the Patreon with Zaka assist over 1.5 points for Pasternak, you get really excited, and then you make this video excited to tell all you guys. The same way you guys are excited to say, what the hell does he have for me next? He's raking for me all week. So it was a beautiful Wednesday. And right after Wednesday, we got a huge Thursday slate. And it really is late. And while I have some energy right now, I want to keep this one relatively short and concise. I do need a few hours of sleep, believe it or not. But I'm going to start with a team that's been near and dear to my nose all season. A team who I told you guys, don't you dare turn your back on them. And have you ever heard of a team who's been a more quiet 16-4-1? 16 wins, 4 losses, 1 overtime loss, unless I calculated it wrong, than the Carolina Hurricanes. All these teams, when they're hot, people throw parties for them. They start moonwalking. Andy says take Carolina earlier in the season, and they go 16-4-1. I haven't heard much about it here. So they're hosting another extremely hot team in the Florida Panthers, who, don't kid yourself, were fully outplayed by Ottawa. They got off to a hot start, scored immediately. Ottawa controlled that game, and Florida ended up winning in overtime. It's just so many big games in a row for Florida. And then Carolina at home on their home ice, they're going to be playing the team who eliminated them from the playoffs. This is their first game in Carolina since being eliminated last playoffs by Florida in a series that it was a sweep. But I actually agree with Brenda Moore. When 2 games go to multiple overtimes and every game is decided by 1 goal, a sweep does not tell the tale. That series had razor-thin margins, and Bobrovsky stole the first 2 games. So don't go out there thinking, oh yeah, Florida's going to take this one. They've been winning. Florida is a great team, no doubt about it. They probably are a hair better than Carolina overall. If this was a neutral setting World Cup final, Florida is a little more complete. Their high-end talent is better than Carolina's high-end talent. Right now, especially without Anderson, their goaltending is going to be better than Carolina's goaltending. But I will take the defensive core on Carolina over that of Florida, and this should be like a playoff style game. So the first thing I'm going to go with is the under 6.5. Two teams who play like this. Florida has not conceded more than 2 goals in over a month. Over a month, it's been 2 or fewer. So if you don't even want to get into, oh, come on, you're going to make me bet on one of these 2 great teams playing against each other? No, you can take the under 6.5. But I personally think this is a game that Carolina really wants to win, and I truly do appreciate the way Florida's playing. I cursed Florida up and down 2 years ago for being the fakest team. They are what Vancouver is this year. Skill, offense, everything has to be perfect, but they're not going to muck it up and play dirty and cross-check you in the back, take a 2-game suspension, and say, I worked in a vacation anyway. That's not them, but it is them now. So kudos to Florida. They are the type of team that can win because of the changes that they made in their philosophy. I'm just talking about this particular game. Andy is going to take the Carolina Hurricanes to win this one against the Florida Panthers. And if you wanted to bring that down, I got 2 separate ways to do it. Carolina with the under 7.5. And then also I saw one on DraftKings, Carolina to win, and neither team gets to 5 goals. That's like plus 178. Then another game, this is going to be the Devils hosting the Rangers. Now, I've ripped on the Devils up and down. I really have. And then I commended them for the stretch of games where they conceded 2 or fewer. And what do you know? They racked up some wins in those games. You keep pucks out of your net, oh, you happen to win. They're playing the Rangers, who have won, They've won every single game since the All-Star break, but if you've watched those games, you check the money puck winning meter, they're being outplayed in the majority of them, and they're ending up on the right side. And I don't blame the Rangers. When you're winning, when you're in first and you're winning, you come back against the Isles, you beat Dallas, you're being outplayed by teams, but you end up winning. I really wouldn't worry too much either. I'd just continue playing the way I was playing as well. Eventually, it's going to catch up to them. And in this game, the reason I'm going with the New Jersey Devils is it's just a nightmare matchup for the way the Rangers play. Number one, they gave them fits throughout the regular season last year. And then obviously everybody knows after game 2, they just fully dominated that playoff series and eliminated the Rangers from the playoffs. So there is that little psychological thing in there as well. And then Z3, they need this game a whole hell of a lot more than the Rangers do. They need every last point, just like the teams in that wild card race. They lost against Washington last night, and they're coming back home, and I'm expecting the Devils to give everything they got against this Rangers team. So give me the Devils. They are against the Rangers. One thing I like is that they're favored. Every Joe Blow window shopper, and the window shoppers had a good night, good for you, they're going to see that Rangers plus. They go, I'm going to go on the Rangers. Okay, go ahead. Usually that's a wink to me in both the Carolina game and the New Jersey Devils game. You show me a price that's going to incentivize every regular Joe Blow to go on the other side. Yeah, okay, no problem. I'll take the slight minus with Carolina and the New Jersey Devils in those games. Now, those Joe Blows, they really enjoyed themselves. They got their male swimsuits with the Austin Matthews goal. So that's it. They're ready for their vacation. And now they're going to play Vegas the very next night. In my opinion, we see this a lot. We see these ruckus games. Then the very next night, the team's kind of deflated. And they're playing Vegas, who just lost against Nashville. And if you ask me, this just seems like more of a lollygagger's effort. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing with Carolina. I'm going to go under 6.5. And I'm going to lean towards Vegas in this game. So the same way I think it's a good situation for an under, I know probably it scares you with Toronto, but remember, Vegas doesn't have Jack Eichel back. They have a great goalie. And yeah, there is a chance, I guess, they could score. But in my opinion, I think the under 6.5 is a decent bet. Not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination on the slate. But the under 6.5, slight lean towards Vegas. And then I'm going to go back to the team that's working for me. I don't know if they're working for you. You turned your back on them months ago. They won another one the other night. I don't like that Arvidsson left that game, but I do like the juju that they got going. Another team held to under 2.5. When they're playing well, they're playing good defense, and I'm hoping that they do the same. Nashville had a great win. Maybe they got inspired, didn't get to go see U2, and then they came out and played great against Vegas. Are they going to replicate that effort? I don't know, but I'm going to take the LA Kings against the Nashville Predators, and I'm also going to take the under 2.5 goals for those Nashville Predators. So Kings to win is one, and then the under 2.5 for the Nashville Predators with their goals. I can't remember if that was plus money or not. But speaking of plus money, something that you guys have grown accustomed to in these last couple of days, you guys are probably looking for some line mates, some point prop combos that have been absolutely crushing this week. Well, you know, my New York Islanders, they'll blow any and every lead since the beginning of time. So I'm going to be looking at the St. Louis Blues guys. If we go with Thomas and Buchnevich, and we get both of those guys for a point, that should bring us to plus money. And I do think it's worthy of a crack. Both of those guys, 2 points each against the New York Islanders. And we can see the prices weren't listed when I made this video. Sometimes they get real shisty. They don't release them until like really late. Borderline, you know, the sun is out. And since we all know I'm a vampire, I got to be sleeping when that sun rises, or else I'll be like Josh Hartnett at the end of 30 days, 30 nights, except I don't got somebody to kiss me as I go down. All I got are my mountain of noses over here. So I'll take those two guys on the St. Louis Blues. And then lastly, I will take two guys from the Dallas Stars. The top line really isn't going to get you a ton of value. So I'm going to go with Matt Duchene and Mason Marchment, both to register a point. That will put you around plus 200 or something like that. They're both on the second line. They're both on the second power play. And they're playing Ottawa, who is playing fantastic. I swear. One of the biggest travesties is that we will not be allowed to watch that team in the playoffs. They have so many good players, and now they're starting to realize it. Once again, they're doing that. I told you guys this a couple weeks back in the video. We're at that point of the season where they show us everything that we hoped we saw all season, only to not have enough juice to make that full push to the playoffs. Well, I guess we should just enjoy the performances while they're there. You kind of want to lean over 6.5, but, you know, when you deal with Ottinger and a team that can potentially play good defense like Dallas at times, you can find yourself in a situation with Ottawa. I think the Ottawa unders are actually like 5-2 or something in their last 7. So I'm not going to touch that, but I am going to take those two players from Dallas to register a point. And then a solo bet, the same way I said the Zacha value is too good, I think the Heiskanen value is just too good. I took him in that first game back. I put it on the Patreon once it was announced that he was playing because he missed the game against Boston. He came back. He scored a goal against the Rangers, went over his shots on goal, which was plus money that night. So I'm going to go with the over half of a point for Miro Heiskanen, who's on that top power play. He is a Norris caliber defenseman, and this price will go up eventually. I mean, the fact that the Senators defensemen have a higher price than him is crazy. He's the best defenseman in this game, and I think we're getting a good value on him. So I will take a point for Miro Heiskanen, and that's what I got for you here on a stacked Thursday. Be able to go through some more. As always, I will put a litany of extra parlays on the Patreon once I see all the 2-point prices, this, that, and the other. You guys can join over there. A bunch of you have joined. Very happy to see you over there. I do the best I can to try to do well for you. I mean, it might go cold soon, but while we're firing on all cylinders, I'll keep letting it rip. So if you guys want to join there, it's patreon.com/Andy Francess. As always, like, comment on these videos. It helps grow it. You guys are doing well with it. So, you know, you do well, then that's life. The expectations go up. Oh, I can rely on you guys to be a first-line player. Well, then help me grow this channel. Get it to more people who can learn about these Ruckus same-game parlays. Don't keep them for yourselves. Don't be greedy. Share the joy with others. So, if this video gets to, I got the Josh episode tomorrow, so it ain't going to be early. All right, you guys are off the hook, but please do me a favor, like and comment on the video. You know, you don't have to write a sonnet, a 3-act play. Just do something that helps the algorithm. That's all I'm asking it for. I'm not begging to read your comments. I don't leave comments, but I'm asking you because you can see the views and the channel size that I have here. Every last one helps, so I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. I will see you tomorrow for the episode with Josh. Looking forward to it. Take it easy.